tell me if you think that ISIS is an imminent threat to America.
I can't really answer. I'm with the media as well.
That's okay. As a citizen, do you have an opinion on whether it's a threat or not? In the future or?
Both. In the future.
Do they have an air force?
Who, ISIS?
Yeah.
I do not know.
Do they have a navy?
I don't know. I know that they're just a growing population, and they're pretty much taking over Syria and Iraq.
So how are they a threat to America if they don't have an air force or a navy? They can't get over here. They can't destroy America, right?
We don't know if there's ISIS followers here in the United States already.
Oh, there could be an individual terrorist act, but that won't destroy America, will it?
No, but they are a bigger threat than Al-Qaeda was.
How so? If neither of them had air forces, neither of them had navies, how could they destroy America?
Bigger population.
Our population is like 20 times larger than theirs, and the army.
But their population is growing, so.
Okay, but is it growing that fast? Because ours is 20 times larger than theirs.
I can't answer that question. I mean.
Well, I appreciate your opinions. What's your name, sir?
Steve.
Steve. Steve. From which? From where? Steve what?
From where I'm from?
No, well, just Steve. What's your last name?
Steve Heiner.
Heiner. Okay, Steve. So, do you think that it is a proper function of the federal government to liberate and protect foreigners according to the Constitution?
Foreigners here in the United States? Yes, I do.
No, I mean foreigners outside of the United States. Well, like we did in Iraq, or Libya, or like we're doing now, because when we're fighting ISIS, we're just defending the Iraqis and the Syrians that they're attacking.
Right.
They're not attacking the United States, right?
Not yet.
Well.
But they are hurting American citizens that are over in those countries.
Oh, well, yeah, and I mean, American citizens are murdered every year in countries all around the world, but we don't go to war with these countries, right?
Right.
So they cannot destroy America. They're not a formidable military threat to anybody. They can't even destroy Assad or the Iraqis. They can't even beat the Iraqi government or Assad. And those are very minor powers. So I don't get it. How can there be an imminent threat if they don't have the means to destroy us? But let me just so you see a comparison. Does Russia have the means to destroy us?
Yes.
Yeah. So to see, Russia could destroy us.
Yes.
Why?
They have the nuclear weapons.
They had 12,000 nuclear deliverable missiles. And if Putin, right now, as we're speaking, wants to destroy America, he can.
Right.
And guess what? We're the superpower of America, and we would be destroyed.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
So that's a country that has the means.
Mm-hmm.
But ISIS, they're just trying to win some territory there, to have their little mini caliphate, and force people to be Muslims and live according to Sharia law. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, if you go there, it's dangerous.
Right.
But if you're here in America, like we're speaking, you and me, they can't touch us.
But their numbers are growing, and they can get a hold of nuclear weapons.
Do you know? Well, who's going to give them nuclear weapons? They don't even have airplanes.
This is true. But
I mean, even their opponents, the Iraqis or the Assad regime in Syria, they don't have nuclear weapons.
Right.
So, they really can't do anything to us in this year, next year, the 10 years. I mean, they don't have any means to destroy America, as far as I can tell. I asked you whether it was a proper function of the federal government to liberate and protect foreigners. You remember?
Yes.
Okay, so according to the Constitution, does the Constitution say that we should do that?
I can't think of anything in there.
No, it only says, the Constitution only says that we should act in the common defense of the states. So if we're attacked, then we should respond and defend ourselves. Or imminent threat, if they had a plan and the means to execute it, then we, by all means, we should go right after them and destroy them. But at the moment, they're having a hard time with Assad and the Iraqis, and we're the last thing on their mind. Because, I mean, they may say, oh, we're going to destroy you, we're going to put a flag on in the Capitol. Anybody can say what they want, but they have no means to do it. And they're plenty busy right now, as it is, trying to get their little state there so they can have like a theocracy, like in Iran.
Right.
Iran never attacked us.
Right.
So it's the same thing. I mean, they don't have the means unless they come over here in flying carpets.
Yeah, there's always that possibility.
Well, Steve, you know, here's the most important question that I think all citizens should consider. Do you have a principle that permits you to determine when we should go to war and when we shouldn't?
Should we have a principle?
Do you have a principle, personally? So each citizen, do you have a principle that permits you to determine when we should go to war and when we shouldn't? So you think, in this case, we should go to war. In this other case, we should not, because that seems to be something that's lacking in this administration, the previous administration,
I mean,
the principle.
I personally don't have a say about it.
But you have do you have a principle that permits you to determine, in this case we should go to war, and in this case we shouldn't?
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, I'm more about safety here in the United States. You know, I don't want anything like 9/11 to repeat itself.
Yeah, we have to. If a terrorist attack us, we have to go kill them.
Well, I just feel like something needs to be done to stop, you know, anything like that happening. I mean, it's...
Yeah, well, we have done that. Didn't we kill Osama bin Laden?
We did.
So that was a good thing. We got rid of that guy.
It took a lot of time.
That's true. So, but you haven't given me the principle, right?
Right.
Do you have one? That's the question.
I guess only time will tell. I mean, I don't really...
No, but I mean, do you have a principle? When you go to figure out, should we go to Libya? Yes, no. Should we go to war in Iraq? Yes, no. How do you make these decisions without? Do you have a principle that permits you to determine when it's right to go and when it isn't?
Yeah. I don't know how to answer that question, because I just...
Well, it's a yes or no question. You either have a principle or you don't have a principle.
Right. I mean, I kind of feel like, you know, we should, you know, just stop just anything from spreading. I mean...
Okay, so you think the principle is we should be the policemen of the world?
That's pretty much the way it looks like. I mean, I don't feel like we should we need to take the lead now, but I think other countries need to team up and combine military efforts to stop things like these.
So does the Constitution, we just agreed that the Constitution doesn't give the federal government the right to liberate and protect foreigners. It's only, we can only act militarily in the common defense of the state. So that there's no mention of world responsibility for peace or policemen of the world or anything like that.
Right, but...
Are you in favor of violating the Constitution?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so if the Constitution doesn't authorize it, then the federal government cannot do it legitimately, correctly?
Correct, but I mean, there's nothing that says that we can't.
Well, is there a 10th Amendment that says that if the Congress and the federal government are not authorized to do something, they can't? Are you familiar with the 10th Amendment in the Bill of Rights? It says those powers that are not delegated specifically to the Congress, the federal government, are reserved by the states and the people. So that's a very important amendment, because it says any power we did not delegate specifically, you do not have. So the powers that are delegated specifically are in Article 1, Section 8, and that's called the Enumerated Powers Clause. And there it lists all the powers of the United States. And if liberating and protecting foreigners not on that list, or policemen of the world is not on that list, or guarantor of world peace is not on that list, then they can't do it. You can go over there and sacrifice your life if you want as a citizen
Right.
to protect anybody you want. But it's not the federal government's job, and they're not authorized to do it. So you weren't aware of that if
No.
if the federal government is not authorized to do something, they can't do it. That's why we have the Constitution created a limited government. That's what we mean by limited. Here's the powers that you have, and these are the only ones you have. Anything we didn't say you don't have.
Okay.
So that's the 10th Amendment. It's a very important amendment. Just like the 9th Amendment, it's a similar situation about rights. Same thing. The rights are reserved to the people in the states that are not delegated specifically to the federal government. So if that's the case, then, and it doesn't say anything about policemen of the world, then we don't have a right to be the policemen of the world.
Right.
The federal government is not authorized to do that.
But is it right just to let things go as bad as they are?
Well, is it
someone's
right?
gotta do
But you said
something.
previously you said that you didn't want to violate the Constitution, right?
I do not. But
So if you're really concerned and you are willing to lose your life or limbs in foreign countries defending who knows who that could care less about you, it's a free country. You can go. Do you want to go?
no, I do not want to go.
Well, neither do I, and that's why I don't want to send anybody else's kids over there.
Right.
Especially young men like you that are in the prime of their life and engaged in intellectual discussion and thinking. We need you guys here.
Right.
So we have plenty of problems here, right? We got Ferguson, we
Definitely.
got Detroit, we got here and there.
Right.
Why don't we just take care of our own problems and let these other people take care of theirs and let them learn by experience? What do you think?
I agree with you at some point, but we don't want problems to get even worse than what they are now.
Well,
I mean, don't you think
if they attack the
terrorist
United States,
It'll bring down
if they
our
attack,
economy just as it did before?
it's going to bring down the economy, the terrorists? Well, I don't think so, but that's a discussion for another time. Steve, it was nice talking to you. I appreciate your willingness to share your views.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.